It is my great pleasure to now introduce our next guest speaker, Tim Jack Adams of GreenX7. Tim is an international keynote speaker, a wellness thought leader, and he's the CEO of GreenX7. He has created a framework to measure and improve resilience and wellbeing at an individual, team, and organisational level. He is a sought-after workshop facilitator, an expert advisor on resilience and wellbeing for corporations all over the Asian Pacific region. He's also our homegrown hero, residing in the Tweed, and we're very proud of that fact. It gives me great pleasure to hand you over to Tim Jack Adams. Thanks, Tim.
As COVID keeps continuing to cause massive disruption, not only in our organisations, but ourselves, we're constantly pivoting, looking at new technology. Right? How are we going to not only survive this epidemic, but actually thrive through it? And for me, what I'm seeing is that we're doing so much in this tech space that we're actually forgetting about our best asset. And that's us, all right? You. And of course, our people in our companies. And what we have to realize is that it's actually us that make up our organizations. And no matter how much great technology we can use, we have to remember that at the end of the day, we are the productivity, we are the organization. And so what I want to ask you is, well, how is your battery? You see, a few years ago, I stopped listening to my own advice. For about 5 years beforehand, we'd actually come up with a great methodology that helps people to thrive sustainably, to reconnect to self, others, and nature for everyday wellness. But we hit a growth period. I'm sure you know what I mean. And GreenX7 was getting some great customers at home and abroad. And I thought maybe just for a little while, I'll stop, doing my rhythm. I'll stop using my own medicine. And well, after about a month, it was pretty plain to see what happened. And on this particular day, it was a beautiful summer's day, and I was going down to Watersports Guru, our other company. And what I saw as I got out of my car and I was walking across the car park is not how many people were smiling and laughing and splashing and playing and having a great holiday, but actually all the little things, right, that I was seeing that was wrong. The paddles that were slanted, the life jackets that weren't zipped and clipped. Now you have to remember that, I was spending all day, every day in an office, and if you know me, that's not what I do. My battery had sort of gone from thriving and had sort of started to deplete it. And instead of actually rocking up and praising my staff, I went straight to the manager and I started to berate him. Like really giving it to him about all the things that him and the staff were doing wrong. And after about a minute, Matty, the manager at the time, he stopped me and he said, look, Timmy, mate, everyone's having a great time down here. The staff are working their butts off. Look at everyone smiling, laughing. And to be honest, mate, the energy was so much better before you got here. Do you think you could leave? And I was about to open my mouth and go, hang on, I'm the boss. I realized he was right. I realized that I was resenting them for having fun, for living their best versions of themselves, right? Because that's what I'd stopped doing. I'd actually stopped doing the things that I loved. And I realized that right there and then the importance of making sure that we reconnect and recharge each and every day. You see, we make the deliberate effort each night to make sure that our devices are plugged in and we're going to wake up the next morning with a full battery, right? We all do it because we know that if we don't, we're not going to get the best productivity out of those devices. But how often do we do it for ourselves? How often do we reconnect and recharge our own batteries to take time each and every day and do the things that we need to do to look after our own well-being, right? And it's interesting because the difference between well-being, which is purely just being in a comfortable state, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, is completely different to the word wellness. The word wellness is that deliberate effort to get there, right? You actually have to do something to get into that space. And so I want to ask you right now, how is your battery? And are you thriving or just surviving? Are you making that deliberate effort for you personally each day to make sure that you're as productive and connected as possible? Because what we know from our research is that happy people do better work. Actually, the latest studies from the Oxford University says that people that are healthy and happy are 13% more productive. Now, if you add that up each day, every day, over a year, across your whole workforce, you can see the importance of actually being well. Not just you, not just a few, but the many that work in your organization. And so that's what we do at GreenX7. We've created a framework that helps you measure and improve your well-being and resilience. And we can actually do it within 60 seconds. It's phenomenal, right? And the coolest thing about it, right, is we actually help you to work out what your battery is, right? To improve those foundational steps for you and your staff to be healthy, be happy, and be well balanced, right? Because that's what we need to do to improve our battery, right? We need to make that deliberate effort. Now, the great thing about this is that what we know is that awareness is the biggest agent for change, right? First of all, we actually have to reflect on how we're going, right? We need a language to explain it. How's your battery, right? And then we also need to work out the things that we do to improve us. Now, before we came up with this app, this dashboard within 60 seconds, I used to literally play a set of cards. And the reason being is that for me personally, I grew up in a household of 6 brothers. We didn't have much emotional IQ, and it was that very much, harden up, put the mask on and deal with your own problems. And that's all great until you lose someone close. It's great until you become exhausted or depressed or you lose your relationships. And well, that was what was happening to me and my friends. And so we create these pack of cards, right, that we used to literally play with strangers, brothers, friends. It would actually allow them to open up because they could see right in front of them, like you can now, what makes your battery, right? The areas that you need to improve on. And it becomes really simple. It takes all of this white noise, right, out of your mind, puts it right there in front. And what happens is when we do this, right, for organizations, we literally give you a QR code with your organization, your staff spend 60 seconds, and you get a dashboard just like this, right? And we can base it on individuals, we can base it on teams, on states, on countries. And the phenomenal part about it is that we don't have to guess anymore how we're going. We just know now, right? There is no, are you okay? And yeah, I'm fine. But live data coming to you and knowing exactly what we need to do for our teams to make them healthier, happier, right? More balanced, which helps us with our bottom line and helps them and their families as well. So right now, this was taken this morning. Our platform is saying that our average battery is 59%. Now that's across about 10 different countries, across many different industries, right? But this is where we're at. Now, if we want to put that in a pie graph, this is what it looks like. This might be you, right? But this is very atypical of how we're doing. Now, here's the interesting part. When COVID hit, I actually thought that this battery was going to drop. I actually was starting to get worried. But you know what happened? In that first month, when it was still a novel idea, right? When we were still trying to work everything out, we actually took time. We stopped, we breathed. We had the chance to smell the roses. And we actually reconnected to ourselves. We reconnected to those around us, and we actually reconnected to the great outdoors. And our battery went up 10%, right? To 69%. Now, unfortunately, it's dropped again. This is what our average battery looks like. But the fact of the matter is, how can you manage something what doesn't get measured, right? And this is what we want to do. And we do this for you through your events, through conferences. We go in beforehand and we work out exactly what your delegates need, right? We can find out as a group how their battery's going, what activities they need to improve. Yes, tailor-made activities based on your own health and well-being, right? And then we can create a framework on your conference, your event, your leadership retreat to exactly what we need to do to improve their health, their happiness, their battery, their productivity while they're there. And not only that, once they leave, we're going to create some great foundational steps to help keep that sustainable. Because that's the trick, right? It's the sustaining piece. We get motivated by keynote speakers. Sometimes we even get inspired, but it doesn't always last. And that's the trick. We have to make it last, right? So that's what we want to help you with at GreenX7. We want to get you to reflect, work out what it is that your organization needs to not just survive through this pandemic, but to actually thrive, right? We want to create some beautiful content. We want to create some programs. We want to inspire and motivate your team to be the best version of themselves. So your organization can be the best version of itself. Because at the end of the day, guys, your organization is made up like people just like you and I that rely on our batteries to thrive and not just survive. So hopefully I'll see you soon. But until then, make sure that you reconnect and recharge. Reconnect to yourself, reconnect to those around you, and reconnect to the great outdoors to help you recharge your battery. See you soon.
Thank you, Tim. That was fantastic. And now everyone can see why we are so proud of you. Not only the work you're doing in your own space, but also for our industry and more broadly for wellbeing in general. That was a terrific presentation and we appreciate your time.